Yo, what's going on everybody? It's NP back here with another video, and in today's video we're reviewing the Apple Silicon M1 MacBook Pro. Yeah, I'm super excited, so let's get started. So for starters, this MacBook Pro is a 2020 13-inch M1 base model MacBook Pro with 8GB of RAM and Apple's custom Silicon M1 chip. In my eyes, this is kind of like a gateway to the next generation or to the future of Apple's new Macs. This is like the minimum that Apple can do, and honestly I'm super excited to see their next generation chips with their M2s and M3s, because this computer obliterates every single MacBook, any Mac in that case, and Geekbench scores. To show you guys, I'm going to be running Geekbench on this computer and on a 2019 MacBook Pro, so let's get over there. Alright guys, so right here we have a 15-inch MacBook Pro from 2019, and then here's a 13-inch or the 13-inch 2020 MacBook Pro with the M1 Silicon chip, and we're going to compare them just for a quick whatever. The specs for the 15-inch MacBook Pro, obviously it's a 15-inch MacBook Pro from 2019, and it has the same macOS version as this one, macOS 11.0.1, aka macOS Big Sur. And this 15-inch MacBook Pro has an Intel Core i9 9880H at 2.3 gigahertz with 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. And of course, this is the M1 Silicon chip at 3.19 gigahertz and with 8 gigabytes of RAM, aka this is a base model, this is a base 2020 model, and this is a higher tier MacBook Pro from 2019. So we're going to get both of these started here with Geekbench. Alright, I just got them started. Here we are. And they're off. Alright guys, so the 13-inch MacBook Pro is finished, and the 15-inch is still going. Actually just finished. Let's compare it. Alright, so here is the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Again, look at those scores. And here's the Core i9. And as you guys can see, the 13-inch MacBook Pro beats the 15-inch in every single aspect. Well, I mean, I guess both in single and in multi-core scores. Here you get 1726 and 7531, and here you get 1212 and 6411. So, I mean, that's again, that just goes to show you this is a base model, like a base model. Compared to this thing costs, I say, around $2,000, and this one costs $1,300. So again, a base model 13-inch compared to a higher tier 15-inch. That's insane. This just goes to show you the power of the new M1 chip, and yeah. Also, we're gonna put a comparison here, around here somewhere, of the of my desktop PC, which is an AMD Ryzen 5 2600. With 16 gigabytes of RAM. This MacBook Pro completely obliterates it, both in single core and in multi-core scores. That's insane to me, but yeah, that just goes to show you the power, the pure power of this 13-inch MacBook Pro. Let's get into other aspects of the computer. Now, this computer would not be the computer that it is without macOS Big Sur. I mean, honestly, if this computer was running macOS Catalina on there, that would be like a whole different, I feel like that would give the computer a whole different kind of feel and vibe to it. I mean, macOS Big Sur really brings out the best out of this silicon, and it's honestly really cool and really awesome. I mean, from running your own iPhone and iPad apps to even running everything else, I mean, brings the whole ecosystem together. There's not really, from the outside, any hardware improvements, maybe just the microphone, but that's really about it. Again, if you would put this next to an Intel MacBook Pro, you would not see any difference, but I guess what counts is what's on the inside, right? And so one thing I've noticed specifically with this MacBook is that it doesn't get hot. Like I could be running the most intense tasks on this thing and the fan, I don't even hear the fan. It barely gets hot. And I mean, it's really just, it's amazing because I came from a 2011 MacBook Pro and that fan was constantly running. You turn on the computer and the fan would be running. And even with a 2019 MacBook Pro, the Intel based ones, those fans would be kicking and would be spinning so loud and it'd be super hot, the whole computer. And with this computer, you can do everything with just without the computer getting hot. And so the last aspect that I want to talk about, I think, with this MacBook Pro is the battery. The battery life on this thing is insane. I mean, I have been, and I'm a high schooler, so I use Zoom every day from 8 to 1:30. And usually I would probably need to plug in my MacBook before, maybe like midway through, or even I need to have it be plugged in like the whole time. And I mean, now I don't even need to, I went the whole day today without even plugging it in. I started the day at, I think around like 70%, and I ended the day with like only 30%. And that's me running Zoom every day constantly, along with running apps such as Safari to do schoolwork and such. So the battery life on this is insane. It almost feels like new battery technology when in reality it's just the optimization of the M1 chip. So I think that in and of itself is pretty crazy. I can't believe that Apple even somehow managed to get this to work. That's absolutely bonkers. So yeah, that's the MacBook Pro right here. There's not really much else to talk about. It's just that this MacBook Pro is just absolutely stunning and it's just more powerful in every single way. And I'm just super excited to see what Apple will have in store for us, when the 16-inch MacBook Pro comes out and when really, I mean, the Mac Pro and all these new Macs will all benefit from this new silicon. And this is again a base model MacBook Pro. We're not even talking about any MacBook Pro with more RAM or with more storage. This is a base model 256 gigabytes storage. And honestly, that's just crazy. So yeah, that's it. And I just wanted to do a quick PSA though, because there are some downsides to this computer, but I think that this needs to be said. And so yeah, please do not try to reinstall macOS on any new Mac with Apple Silicon. By doing so, you'll receive an error that I'll put up on screen right now. Pretty much it says that it can't personalize the macOS update and you need to try again. As many people online have stated, and I myself have experienced, by trying to reinstall macOS, you're effectively breaking your system, making it impossible to use. The only current way to reinstall macOS without getting this error is to use Apple Configurator 2, which is Apple's configuration app for businesses and enterprises. However, something that you guys do need to know before trying to reinstall it is with Apple Configurator 2, you're going to actually need to have two Macs. You need to have your Apple Silicon Mac, and then you're going to need to have another Mac that's running macOS Catalina 10.15.6 or higher. And you're going to obviously need a USB-C to USB-C cable or a USB-C to USB-A cable, whatever works. It needs to provide power and it needs to provide data through that cable. So Apple obviously recommends their cable, but I find that most cables work. But again, I'm not too sure. But recently I did reinstall macOS, and I for pretty much a whole day had a bricked MacBook Pro that I couldn't use. I couldn't install anything on it, and yeah, it was so stupid. I couldn't do anything, and so yeah, unless I had a second computer to restore, to revive my Mac. As to how to do it, I'll link guides down below so you could try it out yourself. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, again, this is not a how-to. It'll be a complete nightmare until Apple will release some sort of update. So if you have restored your Mac, hopefully this could be a fix for you. But if you haven't restored your Mac, please don't restore your Mac. It's really bad. Just don't. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace. Oh, and one last thing. I'm sorry, I keep on saying one last thing, but the very last thing is that I'm actually recording this entire video on the MacBook Pro. So I don't know. Did you guys notice or not? Comment down below. So yeah, I mean, like this video, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next time. Peace.